Hello, I am Baron Dipidus, and well, by now you have likely seen my other videos about the Brawlhalla graphic novel, Brawlhalla Tales Nyx. Man, I'm still so excited, so happy that this is finally here. So so for this video, I wanted to kind of give a spoiler-free review. Now that I've actually read through all of this a couple times, actually, and looking for all the various references and stuff like that. But yeah, I will not give away any information about this book or its story or anything beyond chapter one. So don't worry. There's no spoilers for that here. I just wanted to give my overall impressions about this story and kind of like how it's done, what it means for Brawlhalla lore, for the Brawlhalla community, for Brawlhalla fans everywhere, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I don't really have any notes exactly, just kind of giving my thoughts and feelings. So yeah, this is great. This is fantastic. This is honestly, so when this was first announced at BCX 2024, I was hoping for and expecting a fun new Brawlhalla story centered around Nyx, with maybe a few lore references, maybe some cameos in the background, and also just kind of maybe a little bit more detail about not just the characters but also about the setting, about Valhalla itself and what life is like there. And honestly, with those expectations in mind, I believe this gives us all of that and a little bit more. There are a few more like legend cameos and references in the background if you look closely enough, more than I thought, honestly. So it kind of exceeded my already high expectations a little bit. So if that doesn't tell you anything, I don't know what does. But yeah. I think just the first chapter alone sets the tone very well for the whole thing. There was, I will say, I wouldn't say that there's certainly, of course, just like any good story, there's like a bit of a, there's some twists and some like minor revelations about the plot, plot wise later on. I wouldn't say it's like too hard to figure out what's happening. And I think this is a good standalone story that wraps up fairly quickly within these 112 pages. So if you're looking for so don't expect there's no cliffhanger here. Essentially, this is clearly written to be a standalone story. Just like Brawlhalla lore, really. When you read a lore page for a legend, you're just kind of getting like the background of that one particular legend, how they got to Valhalla, what their life is like in Valhalla, and it's just like here's how they got to Valhalla, here's how they exist right now in the world, and there you go. That's kind of the feeling I get from this. There's definitely a lot to unpack here about like what life is like and in Valhalla and the characters there and what the afterlife, what the universe is like. But yeah, don't expect like the first part of a overarching story or narrative. This is just, Brawlhalla lore has always been written with kind of this very approachable approach in mind. You can read as much or as little Brawlhalla lore as you like, and you'll still get a good idea of what the tone of the intended tone. So yeah. I will also say, Matt Woomer did say that this story is canon, and also and that it's meant to fit in Brawlhalla lore as we know it, and it also gives a little bit of extra kind of background or extra insight into Nyx's character and Nyx's background, which I think this does. Honestly, I think this kind of slots very well into what we know about Nyx and these other characters as well. Let's see, without spoiling very much, as far as cameos go, when I say cameos, I'm talking about like other legends in the game, as well as other like characters we've heard about in lore. There are a few very fun non-legend cameos in here. We already did see one in chapter 1, which is Heimdall. There's a couple more that I noticed as well. I mean, also in chapter 1, I think Lance Star Champion is kind of like hanging out in one of the pages on chapter 1, which I talked about that a little bit already in a previous video, so that's not spoiling anything. but yeah, there's a little bit more. There's a little bit more to that. I think you'll enjoy. And let's see. Uh, yeah, I. What else can I say? This is the art and the way that the panels are lined up and everything. They like the people who made this, all of them, all four, and everyone else involved with Dark Horse and Blue Mammoth Games and whatever, they know how to do storytelling in a graphic novel format. There are certain moments where the way the panels were laid out and the spacing to give like extra drama or extra comedy or things like that was very good. I'm not necessarily an expert on like graphic novels and everything and things like that, but I do have some appreciation for the way that panels are planned out and the way that they kind of draw your eye in a certain way and everything. And the way that they kind of like cause you to sort of like make your eyes stop and start like the way the layouts can a good layout will kind of draw your eye in a certain way across a page or across a spread of two pages to get the experience that the creators are intending, whether it be like a quick action sequence or kind of like going from one side to the other in like a travel sequence, or maybe even like stopping in one panel to kind of like emphasize a particularly heavy hit or something, or maybe pausing for or like giving some empty space for a dramatic effect. You see all of that in here. Which I think is just sort of indicative of just very good artistic and writing and layout experience all across the board. There's also a couple of little fun extras in the very back. Not a lot, not very much. Don't expect too much, but I think you'll be delighted by the last couple of pages actually. There, you can really tell that this is a true labor of love for everyone at Blue Mammoth Games, and that Dark Horse and the people who work at Dark Horse really helped to bring the Brawlhalla devs' vision to life. So, yeah, this is great. This is everything I wanted, and a little bit more. I will. So yeah, if you've, I think that's kind of all of my general spoiler-free impressions. It is. I think it is worth the price. It is $20 US for a 112-page kind of one-shot graphic novel. That might seem like a lot to some people, and if it is, that's totally fine. Personally, I think it is worth it, just because of just like how special this is for the Brawlhalla community, and also if you I mean, this is a full color shaded, like all 112 pages are fully colored and shaded. And just very well done. And I mean, especially if you consider that a lot of artists on the internet charge like more than $20 for a single, for a single like full body color shaded piece of art, which I think they should. They put a lot of effort into those. I believe you do get your money's worth if you spend the time to appreciate all of the fun expressions in here. I think another thing I should point out as far as the art goes, you get some really cool, again, this is still chapter 1, not spoiling anything. You get some really cool detailed moments like this here, right? But then you also get some really just sort of silly moments like this, right? Like all over the place. I think another really good example, again, in chapter 1, is here with Heimdall, right? So first we have like this very serious, like, well now. And then over here is like, that's some pretty important business. The way that the characters are drawn and like the art style is a little bit flexible, but I think that's a plus because that kind of gives you it really helps set the tone essentially. Again, for as far as like the art, the drawing, the coloring, and also even the lettering too. Like Lucas Catoni, the letterer. You can see that like some extra runes are drawn around this text box here to kind of at least it helps me, it makes me imagine that Heimdall is like, that's some pretty important business, but I am Heimdall, the guardian of the gate. He's like treating this very seriously when you get those Nordic runes around it and everything. But then in other moments you just kind of get like more casual without the runes, but you still have that gold outline for Heimdall specifically. As a book, it is kind of what you expect from a trade paperback graphic novel. There's a little bit of extra gloss on some of these moments, so like Nyx and Lucy, as well as the title Brawlhalla Tales Nyx. There's a little bit of extra shine there. I should mention. You see the same thing kind of on the back. There's a little bit of extra shine. Some of that. That should give you an idea of what the physical product is like. If you like open this and like read this a lot, then yeah, I mean it's a paperback. So you know that's up to you. Personally, I'm again this particular copy is a review copy provided to me by Dark Horse. Thank you very much, Dark Horse, as well as the Brawlhalla devs for connecting me with Dark Horse. But I also did actually pre-order a copy of this without knowing I would get a review copy. I pre-ordered back in November when it was initially announced. So personally, I will have my own copy to keep pristine. That's going to be the pre-ordered copy, but this one is going to be the well-read copy, essentially. Because I am sort of the Brawlhalla Loremaster, I personally I think it's okay for me to have more than one copy. If you're so yeah, that's those are my impressions. Absolutely everything that I wanted. I give this Brawlhalla lore out of 10. Loremaster approved, I should say, if you want that. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I plan on making at least another video kind of talk with a spoiler full review. I'm probably going to wait a little bit longer to give more people a chance to kind of read through the whole thing before I get into all of the deep dive into all the lore and all the references throughout the entire book. I've made a video about the lore references in chapter 1. I've given this spoiler-free review of the book, only giving chapter 1 info. I plan on another video going into all of the lore references and any theories I might have about this later on. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and until next time, all the best.